Parramatta
Big
Eels.
changes at Para.
Yeah.
Might I say, as exclusively predicted by Gus on this very podcast, middle of last year, that the King would be at the Dragons.
Yeah. So on the losses and gains, let's look at what they've lost. What's left the club? Matt Arthur, Dejan Arzi, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Zach Seeney, Clint Gutherson, Morgan Harper, Makahesi Makatoa, Jariah Momasia, Lorenzo Matalo, Ofahiki Ogden, Kai Rodwell, Ethan Sanders, Maika Sivo and Blaze Talangi. That's a lot of players leaving. What they've replaced them with is Josh Adokar. They lost Josh Adokar, Dean Hawkins from South Sydney, a young halfback, Asai Longi, a young fullback on the rise, Kitiani Katonga, a young back rower from the Bulldogs, Zach Lomax was probably their major purchase, Joash Papali'i, Jordan Samrani, a young outside back from Canterbury, Ronald Volkman, trialled very well, Ronald. He's a good player. He had that year off with shoulder surgery, and Jack Williams from Cronulla.
Have shot well.
Yeah, so Adokar and Zach Lomax are probably the two marquee signings, and then a lot of hopeful young kids that are sort of emerging into the NRL and looking to go their way from there. They've lost, obviously, some experience on the score of NRL games played going into the 2024 season. Where are they, Parramatta? They had 2,200 NRL games in their roster. This year, they're exactly the same, 2,200. So on the score of experience, they're kind of like for like with players they've brought in and players they left. But what happened to them last year? It just fell away, didn't it?
Yes.
Sort of a breaking point. They finished in 15th position. They conceded over 700 points. And that's the challenge for the new coach, Jason Ryles, is that defensive mind. But a lot of that's that attitude. A lot of that's being connected. A lot of that's resilience, which they didn't have. They were missing Mitch Moses for a long period last year, but defensively they just fell away terribly in games, and it wasn't. There was just a sense of it all got a bit too hard for them last year, and then they lost their coach, and that was the excuse, and the season sort of petered out. They put in a good performance for the last game of the season when they didn't want to win the wooden spoon, but I've always rated Jason Ryles. I like Jason Ryles as a bloke. I loved him as a player. Coached him at the Origin level, but I've kept in contact with him over the years. He's been in Melbourne Storm. He's had a great mentor down there. He went to the Roosters for a year under Rowanson. He's well educated.
He's been in rugby.
He's sort of done the rounds, and he just thought, well, I need to try my luck in the NRL, and he's taken on a big club. Parramatta's a big club.
Yeah, but he's going to get what he wants.
A big task. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got all that.
What do you reckon the Jason Ryles coach team will look like?
I think it'll be defensively minded, which they need. It'll be well structured. Towards the end of his tenure there at the Melbourne Storm, he had a lot of responsibility in the coaching ranks. Craig Bellamy had delegated a lot of the roles to him. From what I understand, he's really good one-on-one, and he's really good at developing younger players and giving them a mindset. I think in the first trial where they played the other day, it showed that they've had a good off-season physically. He's gone out and bought some younger players. He hasn't really rushed out into the market panicking to replace some of the senior players he lost, Campbell-Gillard and Gutherson and those types. It'll be a young team, probably fly under the radar a little bit. I'm not sure that people are predicting a great bounce back from Parramatta this year. New coach, new players, and lost a lot of experience. But it's kind of, I think that will suit him a little bit. I don't think the expectations are all that high. And
there's still the Dylan Brown question mark hovering there, isn't there? That never, when you've got a key player like that, not sure about his future, it doesn't help.
Yeah, well, they've got to fix that. You can't have your marquee players, and particularly your playmakers, having options to get out of the club every couple of years.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. You can't give up that much just to negotiate to get them in the short term. But that's something they've got to rectify. But in Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown, the two young halves that. Or not two young halves, but they're two experienced halves who played plenty of football together, and
they want that off the books, don't they? I mean, you don't want Brown deciding halfway through the year he's leaving.
No.
Well, that throws a real spanner in the
They've
works.
got to get
doesn't it?
those options out of their contract. That's what they've got to do. Whether that costs them money or negotiation, or I don't know how the contracts are structured. But in January they put Dylan Brown on the market.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Everyone was saying he was signed till 2032 or something. All of a sudden he's on the market in 2026. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But Parramatta, I think it's a big challenge for Jason Ryles first up. But the good part is that I think generally there's not a great expectation of a huge bounce back for them. It'll be interesting to see how they go, but it's the start of a new look Parramatta side, a new era. So wish them well. Do I see them as top 8 contenders? I think there's probably better credential teams around at the moment.
Mind you, the halfback's taken his game to a whole new level, hasn't he?
Well, he's the origin.
He's elite now.
Yeah, no, he is. And, between him and Dylan Brown, they can do things. I mean, they've got some really other good players there. I think Campbell Gillard's a huge loss. I just didn't understand that. A lot of pressure there on Junior Paulo and a couple of young forwards there. But defensively, 713, that's more than just structure, that's attitude and everything as well, and they need to get that right. So a big challenge for the coach and the players.